guys, it's been a minute. So, welcome to this week's vlog. I hopefully will be vlogging a little more frequently from now on, but I wanted to give a little update vlog on some things that have happened. First of all, we started riding with a different trainer. I did a couple lessons with the last trainer from the last vlog. You'll see the stuff we were working on with her. And she was more strictly a hunter jumper trainer, and I do think a lot of the things we were working on in those lessons were helping us, but I don't really think they were good for us in the long term. I felt like they were a little bit too intensive lessons, and they were just a little bit too much. They kind of left me mentally fatigued, mentally and physically fatigued, and I didn't really feel like it was worth it for us to continue with her. So we started riding with another trainer who is more of like an all-around type trainer. She rides and trains a lot of different types of horses here. I think her main discipline is eventing, but we've spent like the last 4 to 5 months, I think, taking almost weekly lessons with her when we have time, really focusing on dressage basics. So that's a lot of what you'll see in this next vlog that's coming up after I finish talking. Is a lot of what we've been working on with her and getting Happy a lot more balanced and using his hind end better. And I really, really like her, and I think she's made huge changes for us. So first of all, I consulted her on a different bridle because I don't actually like the bit that we were riding in, which was a loose ring Hermspringer double jointed lozenge. So we dropped that bit. We tried a couple different bits, and I really wanted to try a different cheek piece primarily. So we tried a full cheek with him, with the keepers so it doesn't move. And then we tried a couple different bit pieces and ended up really enjoying, sorry, I'm at the barn obviously, ended up really liking the Dr. Bristol snaffle. So he really enjoys the contact, and actually I feel like I have a lot more connection with him with that bridle. So that was a win. And then we dropped the spurs, so we're not riding with spurs anymore. I'm trying to really, really calm my leg and use more of my thigh and my upper calf and not my heels. And just give him reminders with either a firm kick, one on each side, which actually works really well for him to be like, oh, you want me to go forward? Since my legs can be quite busy. Or we use a dressage whip, which he's not as fond of, and I only use that if he really isn't listening, which we haven't had that situation in weeks. So yeah, we've really come full circle with her, and I'm really excited for you guys to see all of these little clips from our lessons. So yeah, sorry it's been so long since I have vlogged anything. I just haven't really felt like doing that out here. I've been, I guess, using this time to really reset and really focus on Happy and my riding, and I think it's really made a huge difference. I also felt a little bit like what I was sending out to you guys in vlog form was pretty boring. And I'm going to continue filming what we do. I just want everyone who's watching to realize that I probably am not going to show anymore, probably not going to go off property anymore. A lot of the vlogs are probably just going to be a lot of my progress with Happy and how I train him to be a more balanced horse because he's a standardbred. And if that's not something you care to watch, then just be aware that's probably all that's going to be on this space for now. I post a lot on my Instagram, so you can follow us there. There's a lot more of like daily stuff that I do with Happy when I come out. But yeah, I think for now this channel will mostly just focus on our progress, which it always has, but it's going to be mostly like just our rides and what we're working on with our current trainer. So I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm happy to put out a video and show our progress. It was fun for me to make this and see like some of the changes that have happened over the last couple months. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and please like and comment if you have anything you want to ask me or anything that you'd like me to know. Please feel free to comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done so and you think following us and watching our progress would be fun for you. So yeah, let's get into it. So some of the first few lessons I did with my new trainer was working a lot on our combined anxiety. So I think what she really saw, what you're seeing really well displayed here, is a lot of tension and just anxiety between both me and Happy. And a lot of what we worked on was slowing my post and being a little more deliberate with having him slow down his run and come under himself and try to kind of slow his feet a little bit and not be so quick with his feet. And also she told me to ride with music. So I started riding a lot with my headphones and just listening to music and trying to relax and to not get frustrated, which would always lead to more and more tension in my body. So that was a lot of what we worked on in our first several lessons. And we did a lot of body stuff with Happy. So lots of shoulder in, lots of working on diamonds, which you'll see later in this video. And just a lot of things to keep him more supple and going straight as opposed to bulging out of his shoulders or trying to drop a shoulder, which is something that he does quite often. He's always been a little anxious at this barn just because, like I said in my prior vlogs, these arenas that we typically ride in, the schooling arena or the jumping arena, are right next to the road and like down a hill. So if there's horses in the arena and they leave, it gives him anxiety. And if there's horses in the turnout, of course they're playing next to the arena, so then he kind of gets anxious and kind of wants to play or be silly. And then if we're riding and somebody comes down the hill to ride in one of the other arenas, that of course grabs his attention. So it's been really difficult to keep him focused. And I think in the turn that gave me a lot of anxiety and maybe amplified a lot of the tension that I maybe had but wasn't showing as much of before at my other barn. So we did a lot of work on getting him just to relax and to actually keep himself under himself better. And then on top of that, a lot of our work at the canter was just purely to get him to spend more time on that inside hind leg both ways. So we did a lot of circles, which you'll see here, and a lot of asking with my inside hand and holding a nice firm barrier with my outside rein so that he could come into that outside rein. So there's a lot of protest on his part because he always finds this work to be very, very difficult, and that's why I really haven't done a lot of work on it. But what's been really, really great in these lessons is that it's really hard for him, but once he kind of figures out what's being asked of him, he settles into it and he's great. He's like, oh, he relaxes and he's like, this wasn't that hard. So very happy with that. We've also done a lot of sitting trot with her and working on getting my seat lighter in the saddle and kind of helping him to come under himself with that, and also just feeling his back more in the sitting trot, which is really hard for me. And as he's gotten bigger with his trot, when I'm doing sitting trot, I really have a hard time with it. But I think it's been a really, really great tool for us because then we've been doing a lot more sitting trot to canter transitions, which I think have helped him to also get his hind end a little bit more under him and strengthen it, as opposed to just walk to canter transitions, which he's pretty good at anyways. So this was probably back in August or September, I think. It was early in fall, so we were still like working pretty hard on everything and getting him to a more balanced place under saddle. So we really didn't jump at all with her the first couple lessons. Actually, I think we've only done 2 jumping lessons, and I think I've ridden with her at least, I don't know, 16 times. So just a lot of that, and this was the first lesson that his canter felt amazing, so I wanted to include this lesson. And then we had a couple more weeks without the spurs, so you notice no spurs, my dressage whip, and then this was the Dr. Bristol. I think the other lesson that you just saw was like just a normal snaffle. And I can already feel him improving in the contact. He's getting quieter. Actually, I do have spurs here, sorry. I did stop riding with spurs really soon after this. So we were working a lot on not using my lower leg and trying to keep my calf on. And so you'll see, or maybe not in this lesson, you'll see it, but I know that I had to drop my stirrups. And I'm pretty sure this lesson had to drop 1 stirrup at a time and start really focusing on trying to use my thighs and my upper calf as opposed to hammer heeling, which is what my trainer calls it. And when she says that, it really, really bugs me. So it definitely is incentive to stop doing it. But I do feel like from that other lesson to this one, which was probably a couple lessons later, he looks so much more relaxed and through his body just looks so much happier. I do feel like my hands are quieting. I still have an issue with my right arm. I do tend to pump with my right arm, which then of course pulls him in a rhythmic way. I don't know when this started, but it's annoying. I've also noticed that my right elbow sticks out a little more. So I've been working really, really hard on that. And then also just pushing my right seat bone into the saddle more to help balance. So all these things I think that we've been making changes for predominantly are my position and my hands have made such a huge difference for him and just getting me to quiet so that he really understands what I'm asking. I felt like this lesson was really good. He was looking really, really handsome, and I just was really, really proud of him and proud of like the progress that we had made, just really focusing on flat work and not actually doing any jumping. And like I said, this was like several months that we did, maybe 1 or 2 months where we did no jumping at all. And I think in my last 2 lessons, we did poles, and then we did jumping in my very, very last lesson, which was, I think, like a week ago from today, from when this was released. But yeah, I feel like he's starting to really understand a little more how to use himself better and not be so worried about the ask. So I'm very, very pleased with that. And just pleased overall with everything that we've done with her. She's such a nice and kind trainer. She's very, very kind to me. She's very, very kind to Happy. Even when he has these little spooks, she doesn't get upset or like, make me feel like he's being bad. She just kind of laughs it off, and then we get going again, which has helped me in turn laugh it off, or just kind of like, okay, let's just get back to it, as opposed to really making a big deal about it with him, which I think in turn has created a very, very relaxed environment for us to both be together in. And I feel like he and I both have had such a strengthening in our connection just from riding with her. So I just can't say enough good things about this new trainer. And I feel like just watching him go between the video you just saw in October to this one, which probably is about November, is tantamount to like just how much improvement he has had since we started riding with her. So this one we were working a lot more on just keeping that inside hand quiet. I think in this lesson she had me ride with my thumbs together. Like you can see it starting to kind of pump a little bit and give and take and give and take. So I think in this lesson she had me ride with my thumbs together, which was really hard. She's also had me ride with one hand, which is not very fun. And we've done a lot of things to try to get my hands to quiet and to just settle so that he is settled in his mouth. But again, the change in bit has helped him a lot with that, and I think it's helped me a lot to feel like I have more of a connection with him as opposed to that loose ring that was just kind of all over the place with the connection for us. Okay, and this was not a lesson, but this was a ride that I did directly after our lesson where we worked on poles with our trainer. So again, in that lesson we worked on poles and really just doing like 1 or 2 poles together. I think the most we did was 2 together at the trot and the canter. And then we worked a lot on diamonds. So I'm going to work on that in these video clips so you'll see what I'm talking about. But a lot of like getting to the arena fence and then turning on his hind end to the next arena fence and just basically creating a diamond. But gosh, he looks so good, and I'm so, so proud of all the work that we've put in. And I think a lot of the work that we've put in is really on me because I've had to do a lot of quieting of my hands and quieting of my legs. And here, for sure, I do not have spurs on. So I really just gave them up, and I haven't put them back on since. And I have been working on quieting my leg more and more and just trying to use my leg when I feel like I need to get him to come under himself a little more, understand what I'm asking. But the less that I have used, the more I have gotten out of him, and the more forward he's been, the more relaxed he's been. I feel like I'm getting true engagement from him as opposed to him being, frustrated by my leg or not understanding my ask. So here we're working on the diamond. I like to do this at the trot and the canter, although I think in my lesson that I did this only at the canter with her. But it's a good exercise. It helps me a lot, and it helps him to put more weight and time on that inside hind and then push off of it as well to get the little bit more impulsion that I'm asking for out of the corners. So that's what this exercise is, and we do it quite often now because I just think it works really well, and I feel like he actually does enjoy this exercise. So that's what we did at the trot and canter for this ride. And then we did a little bit of poles, and then we also did a jump. I saw this cross rail and I thought, I might as well take him over it a couple times, working on the instruction that she gave us to the poles, which was to sit tall and pretend like his hind end was coming directly under my elbows, to keep my elbows straight and quiet and let his hind end come up into that space. And that visual really helped me to quiet and to sit really tall and to kind of just let him figure out the pulls and the jumps. And that's really what we were working on with this. And if he hits the jumps or the pulls at a weird stride, it's not up to me to fix it. Like, yes, I can guide him a little differently to those pulls and jumps, but it's up to him to be able to figure out what happens with his legs when that happens. And also knowing going to those jumps that I need to also, or those pulls, help him to get under himself a little more, so he starts doing that a little bit more naturally and becomes a little more adjustable on his own. So this is us doing the triangles, or the diamonds at the canter, and then I think I'm just going to leave it there and let you guys watch the rest of this ride. Really, really proud with our progress, and I am happy to share all of this with you guys. Just if you've made it this far and you're considering posting some hateful comment, then just know that I will delete it. But thanks for the comment anyways. But I really hope you guys follow along, and hopefully I can get some video of us jumping really soon, because I would like to see it as well, since we haven't really filmed that very much. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.